Yes, Your Honor, we'd like to call the Disney corporate representative.
All right. Disney corporate representative. This is a big one. All right, let's see this one. Fuck yeah. Let's get Disney in here. See what they have to say. Is this going to be Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck?
Would you please state your name and your business
This is not Disney.
Tina Newman.
It's not Disney.
Walt Disney Studios Motion Picture Production, live action. 500 South Buena Vista Street,
Okay,
Burbank,
all right,
California,
let's see this.
91521.
And what is your current occupation?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a production executive.
Okay.
And what is your job title?
That is my title, production executive. I work in the live action feature division for Disney.
Oh,
Is it your
those are the bad
understanding
ones.
you're testifying on behalf of Walt Disney Motion Pictures Group?
Yes.
This is a bit. It's big.
Were you involved in the gathering of the documents responsive to the documents subpoenaed to Disney?
Oh my God, I'm ready.
Yes, I did provide some documentation to Alec and his
Guys,
group from
we
our
have it on
production
sub mode
group.
just for a
I'm
second.
going to ask
Don't
you
make
to
rude
take a
messages
look
towards people's appearance.
at what I
I've said this
just
before.
highlighted
Why do I
on
have to keep saying this? Stop.
topic number. It's
Stop.
subpoena
You do it,
is
you're going to get
taken
banned.
Paragraph number 2,
Please stop.
and it asks for documents
Here we go.
relating to this case. in
I'll turn it
fact,
off. You don't
and
need to
then
chill.
It also says specifically, this specifically includes the op-ed by Ms. Heard
Mm-hmm.
and any impact it may have had on the above.
Okay.
And that includes, as it's defined above, including the business relationship with Mr. Depp, including considering Mr. Depp for any work with Disney or future Pirates of the Caribbean role, or a lesser or greater role, a
Right.
different role, or a different production. Do
George,
you
thanks for 5 subs.
recall seeing in any of the documents you reviewed, either being involved as the corporate designee or in preparing as the corporate designee, do you recall seeing an op-ed written by Ms. Heard?
No.
Do you recall in your preparation as the corporate designee of Disney and your review of the documents that were produced by Disney, any document that referred in any manner to the op-ed written by Ms. Heard?
I would say no.
Do you remember seeing in any of the documents you reviewed that were produced by Disney in response to the subpoena Lucas Takem, the word op-ed in any of those documents?
I don't recall that.
That's
no.
too
Did you
specific.
have any discussions with anyone at Disney about any future Pirates of the Caribbean role, a lesser or greater role, a different role, or a different production?
No.
So she just wasn't
Did you have any
involved.
discussions with anyone at Disney
Thanks, Sonafine.
about the impact of the op-ed by Ms. Heard on the relationship between Disney and Mr. Depp, including considering Mr. Depp for any work with Disney, any future Pirates of the Caribbean role, a lesser or greater role, a different role, or a different production?
Okay.
No.
Do you know whether Mr. Depp
What?
is being considered for a role in Pirates 6?
No.
And when you say no, I think I have to probably ask clarification. Does that mean you don't know one way or the other, or he is not being considered?
I don't know one way or the other.
Thank you.
Do you
doesn't-
know?
So useful.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that decision doesn't fall within my job responsibility.
Then why are you here?
It's above my head. It's the best way to say it.
So what is the knowledge you have about Pirates 6?
Like I said, I just know that it's a project that's possibly in development at the studio.
Wow.
That's it.
Do you know whether anyone at Disney has ever even read the op-ed written by Ms. Heard?
No.
How could she know that?
Are you aware of anyone else at Disney who has knowledge of the topic areas in the deposition notice, that's deposition exhibit number 2?
What?
That beyond what you know?
I can't honestly say. I can't speak for someone
How would
else.
she know?
Like I explained earlier,
Bro,
my knowledge and
Bro.
what my job functionality is at the studio plateaus, and there are people that I work under, And those particular persons may or may not have more knowledge, but I can't speak on behalf of them.
Done.
Is Disney aware
It's
that
not.
Mr. Depp has testified under oath that he would not take another Pirates of the Caribbean franchise role for $300 million and a million alpacas?
No.
Would Disney
No.
entertain paying Mr. Depp more
Okay.
than $300 million and provide him with more than a million alpacas to be able to obtain his services for any future Pirates of the Caribbean role?
Oh my God.
No.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as deposition exhibit number
It was just a joke.
52
Yeah.
to Alan Horn. Who's that?
Like, what about 200?
He was our co-chairman.
Of Disney.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And Alan Bergman, who's he?
Same. He's the other co-chairman of Disney, or was
Uh-huh.
at the time.
And then Sean Bailey, you indicated, was the president.
It's our
Okay.
president of production, correct.
Okay, and then Ricky Strauss, who's he?
Yeah?
I believe at the time he was the head of our marketing group.
And Paul Rader.
Paul Reeder is the head of communications.
All right, and this is from Angela Shaw, and it's dated 5/10/2017.
Okay, all right, let's see it.
Do you see that?
Yes.
And it says, subject HR, Johnny Depp, a star in crisis, and the insane story of his missing millions. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any understanding as to why Angela Shaw was sending this communication to this group, the two co-chairmen, the
OKX
president,
stands for 5 subs.
vice president of production, head of communications on this particular day?
What do you think?
I don't know what the intent of the email is, but obviously we have a relationship as a company with Johnny, so I assume that's why she may be bringing it to their attention.
Okay.
All right, and just to take that
So-
a little bit further, given that Disney has a relationship with Johnny Depp, if there is publicity relating to Johnny Depp, whether it be positive or negative, that would be relevant to Disney, would it not?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say how it's
Of
relevant to
course.
Disney, but given that Angela is part of communications, it's her job to, keep the studio abreast, I guess, of
Absolutely.
anything concerning the
How's that
company,
even a
so
question?
That's about as far as I can read into it.
Okay. And so that's your interpretation of why Angela Shaw sent this to that group of people, was to keep them apprised of this particular article. on
Disney's
Johnny Depp.
smart for doing this, by the way. I'll explain
That
why
would be
when
my
I finish.
assumption.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been labeled as exhibit number 53, and it is Disney 114 through 137.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you if you recognize this document.
Right. You have their name? No. I'll
Well,
explain
it
it.
looks like an internal email. It may have been part of the disclosure documents.
Okay.
This one's from Alan Horn, and I think we've identified Alan Horn before. Well, actually, it starts with, let's start down here. On June 21st, 2018, all right, and then
Okay.
it has a reply
Alan
from
what?
Sean Bailey, sad. Do you see that?
Yes.
What was Mr. Bailey's position with Disney on June 21st, 2018?
I believe he was the president then.
That's
Okay.
big.
He may have been the EVP. I don't know.
That's big.
Okay. And then we have an email at the top. It's to Sean Bailey.
Okay.
CC Janelle Tipton. And then it has some copies to some other people. It's from Alan Horn. I believe we said
Sure.
he was one of the co-directors. Is that correct?
Co-chairman.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I get it.
And Alan Bergman, the Rolling Stones article
Okay.
about Johnny Depp back in this time frame.
I honestly don't remember if I ever read this document. I may have.
Do you have any understanding of why this would be sent from Alan Horn to these other individuals on the top.
Again, same as before, just because of the fact that we have a relationship with Johnny. So they may have determined it was important to bring it to their attention.
All right, Ms. Newman, I'm going to show you what has been marked as deposition exhibit number 54. And do you recognize this document?
Yes, it looks like a email.
Please describe it for me.
It's an email. Well, it started from Scott to myself. Scott Sellers is in Post Finance.
Okay.
And then I replied to Scott.
All right.
So it looks like an email exchange between the two of us.
All right. And you said Scott Sellers is in Post Finance?
Correct.
What is that?
He handles all finances once film goes into post-production on any given picture. Also reporting for the studio, internal reporting, finances.
Okay.
All right. And this is July 14, 2018 that he's sending this to you, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall reading the story that was in the Rolling Stone, The Trouble with Johnny Depp?
So she's going to say she
I
didn't...
mean, to be honest, I don't really remember much about the story, but obviously I must have looked at it
I'm so mad.
and commented.
Right, and
Let's see.
in fact, you commented depressing. Do you see
Yes.
that?
Yes.
So she said it was
And
depressing.
just to go back to refreshing your recollection on the template, do you see that it has importance and received on this?
The fuck?
Yes.
Ms. Newman, I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been marked as deposition exhibit number 56. And it is a document also produced by Disney, and there's the date stamps, Disney 167
Okay.
through 177.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask you to take a look at the top there. This is to Alan Bergman from...
Why is she here? I don't
has
know.
THR's Today and
Disney put her
Entertainment.
here.
Do you understand what that is?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to turn down to 169. It
Sure.
says Johnny Depp's legal team prepares for court hearing about Amber Heard abuse claims. The actors' camp is previewing the evidence that it will present in an upcoming court hearing in the UK this fall, tied to a defamation lawsuit against the Sun for an article that labeled the actor a, quote, wife beater, end of quote. Katie CatDany reports. Do you see that?
Yes.
Do you have a recollection of learning about this and reading
Disney
about
dumped
the
Depp after Rolling Stone article, not the editorial?
case in this time frame? We're talking
I see.
October 2018.
I may have
Okay.
seen a headline come across my desk in the same manner as Alan received it, but that's probably as far as it went.
It's just, but
Ms. Newman, I'm going to show you what has been marked as deposition number 60.
oh my God, bro.
Dated November 5, 2020. And it says Disney reportedly scraps plans for Depp's POTC 6. I'm assuming that's Pirates of the Caribbean 6 return. You see that? Question was, did you see it?
Yes, I see it.
As you sit here today, are you aware of any document in Disney's
How could she be aware?
emails or in their IT system
How?
or anywhere that contains Amber Heard's op-ed from December of 2018?
How could she know that?
I mean, no, not that I'm aware.
Okay. Are you aware of any decision maker within Disney
Okay.
who has ever said they are not casting Johnny Depp in Pirates 6 or any other role because of Amber Heard's op-ed?
No.
Are you aware of any decision maker outside of Disney? And by this, I'm including producers, directors, people of that ilk, who have ever said they were not considering Mr. Depp for Pirates 6 or any other movie because of Amber Heard's op-ed from December 2018?
No.
Okay. Bro, please go on break. Please.
All right.
Please. Please go on
How
break.
much time's
We have an 11-minute one.
Okay, that's fine. What's your next witness?
Ellen Barkin.
Okay, let's see it. What a bunch of fucking horse shit.
Thank you.
They get some middle manager to go over there that doesn't fucking know anything, and they put her there because she doesn't fucking know anything, and that's it. Who cares? Who gives a fuck?
Morning.
I think the first thing
It's got
that would
nothing
be
to do
very
with it.
short but very simple and clean for the record is if you could
This is so annoying.
describe
I'm pissed.
kind of your career background. I know it's very lengthy, but just give a
Okay, here we go. Let's see
brief
this.
summary of kind of when you started working and what you've done during your career.
What the fuck, man? All right,
I started acting professionally about 26 or 7.
Yeah.
And I did theater, television, movies, lots of them.
Okay.
That's what I did for 40 years.
All righty.
And in the course of your career acting in theater, television, movies, etc., did you come to meet a person by the name of Johnny Depp?
Yes.
Can you specify in time, Ms. Barkin, when you met him?
I would say 1990.
And upon or after meeting him, did there come a time when you became friends?
Yes.
Okay.
And can you describe how that happened?
We just developed a friendship over time that lasted, I guess, if we met in the 90s,
30 years.
maybe 10 years or a little less.
Till then. Okay.
And
Let's say it was a while ago.
fair to say that Mr. Depp at the time was also an actor, a professional actor.
Yes.
Okay.
Were you, did you act in any film, stage, or TV productions with Mr. Depp?
Yes, I was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
How often would you
Okay.
see Mr. Depp?
When I lived in New York, usually whenever I go to LA, if I were in LA, I'd see him once a week, maybe more. I mean, the friendship went up and down,
Okay.
living on different coasts.
All right.
And did there come a time when your friendship with Mr. Depp became more than that, became romantic in nature?
Yes.
And
My
at
man.
what point in time did your relationship with Mr. Depp take a romantic turn?
Okay.
After I had moved to Hollywood,
Yeah.
and he, switched the buttons.
Recall what year you moved to Hollywood?
Yes.
Like what?
1994.
Interesting way to
When
put
you
it.
said switch the buttons, can you tell me what you meant by that?
The friendship went from a purely platonic friendship to a romantic one.
Okay. Sure.
At that point in 1994, when the relationship turned romantic, to your
Can I change that to sexual?
to sexual,
Thank you.
for how long did your relationship with
Oh my
Mr.
God.
Depp remain sexual?
Several months.
Jesus.
Anywhere between 3 and 5,
Wow.
6.
And during that period, how often would you see Mr. Depp? That period when it was sexual.
I'd say I'd see him 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
And again, I'm not looking to pry into private details, but can you tell me like where you would see him? Just give me some sense of that.
Yeah, he
Okay.
would come to my house, or I would go to his house.
And
All
both
right.
houses in LA.
Yes, about 10-minute drive apart from each other.
And
Okay.
at either when you were at his house,
Alrighty.
where you didn't stay the night, or where you were at his house when you did stay the night, were there other people in the house who saw you there? Who would those people be?
He had an assistant,
Uh-huh.
his sister,
Yeah.
that's all I can remember now.
Do you recall
Okay.
the name of the assistant?
I don't know his name. He was referred to as Pig.
He was referred to by whom as Pig?
Johnny Depp.
At any point that you were either initially friends and then sexual with Mr. Depp, did you become aware that he
What the fuck?
drank to excess?
I was always aware.
Okay, and can you explain how you were aware of that?
He was drunk
is good.
all the time, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that would apply both to when
my
you
homie
were
Pig,
initially
yeah.
friends and then later when it became sexual.
Yeah.
And what was he drunk? What was your understanding? What had he drunk to become drunk?
He was a red wine drinker.
Uh-huh.
Okay. In addition to alcohol,
Yeah.
were you aware at that time that Mr. Depp
It's awful.
was taking any prescription medication?
No.
Same question, Mr. Barkin, for illegal substances.
Yes.
Same question. And what
Ah.
illegal substances?
Okay.
Hallucinogenics. Cocaine. Marijuana.
Hallucinogenics.
Yeah.
Can you say specifically what those were?
I don't really know. He called me and told me he was tripping.
All right.
With respect to any of that, hallucinogenics, cocaine, or marijuana, did he do any of that in your presence?
Yeah. He's
Yes.
tripping
More than once?
All the time.
all the
When
time.
you say all the time, how many times, again, in the period that you were both first
Yep.
friends and then sexual with Mr. Depp, do you think you saw him?
I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I just know he was always drinking
Uh-huh.
and or smoking a joint.
It's good new information
Would it be
here.
fair to say more than at least dozens of times?
Yeah.
Sure.
Over the full course, oh yeah.
Okay. I would have
Now-
never guessed. Such a
Did you
dramatic
ever,
change of events.
Observe, Ms. Barkin, Mr. Depp's behavior change when he drank more or used more drugs.
I did not.
So he was kind of the same all the time, fair to say?
It was not the same. He was high.
Did there come a time, Ms. Barkin, when Mr. Depp acted in a way that was out of control with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Depp threw a wine bottle across the room, the hotel room on one instance in Las Vegas while we were shooting Fear and Loathing in Las
Method
Vegas.
Was something about to happen
Okay.
A fight was going on.
between you and Mr. Depp?
No.
Who was the fight between you?
Between Johnny Depp and his friends in the room, the assistant. Honestly, I don't remember.
And the bottle that
Just
you
fucking-
remember sitting here today, Ms. Barkin, whether the bottle was full of wine or empty?
I
Fucking
don't.
pig, man.
Sitting here today, Ms. Barkin, do you remember
Just imagine- God damn
whether
it,
the
pig.
bottle hit you?
No, it did not.
Did the bottle hit anyone else?
No, it did not.
Yeah. Okay.
Approximately how far away from you was Mr. Depp when he threw the bottle?
Yeah.
Across the room, so maybe by that break in the table or a little further down.
Uh-huh.
It was a toss.
And
Row.
Okay.
sitting here today, if the bottle had hit you, would it have injured you?
Sure.
Ms. Barkin, was it
No
your understanding
shit.
back then that he was throwing the bottle at you?
I don't know why he threw the bottle.
And was it when he threw it, was it in your direction?
Yes.
Were there other people standing around you?
Yes.
So he threw it in your direction at a group of people.
Yes.
Okay.
Whose hotel room was it?
His Johnny Depp's.
Who broke off the
He
relationship?
did.
How did it come about that Mr. Depp broke off your relationship?
I went to go home. There was a
Uh-oh.
big goodbye, crying, a lot of jealous, and don't do this, don't do that. And I never heard from him again after that.
And did Mr. Depp not want you to go back to Los Angeles
Uh-huh.
at the time?
Yes, he didn't want me to go. I was only supposed to be there for 2 days. I stayed for longer.
Uh-huh.
And you just referenced, you just used the word jealous. How did that come up? What did he say that indicated to you that he was jealous?
He's just a jealous man, controlling. Where are you going? Who are you going with? What did you do last night? I had a scratch on my back once that got him very, very angry because he insisted it came from me having sex with a person who wasn't him.
During the time that you were in a sexual relationship with Mr. Depp, was it common for him to say things to you about being controlling, to use your words, or being jealous of you?
Yeah, very common.
And when, in these instances, when Mr. Depp became jealous or controlling, did he also become angry?
Yeah.
Okay.
And demanding.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go
Wow.
take your afternoon recess. Please do not discuss the case.
Okay.
And do not do any outside research, okay? We'll see you back in 15 minutes.
Okay, who is this? So this is a girl that he had a relationship with like 30 years ago. And apparently they were drunk in Las Vegas and he threw a bottle across the room. And nobody got hurt. And apparently nobody ever thought anything of this. And he was arguing with people in the room. So I'm not really sure, man. And like...
Come back at 3:45.
that he
Does
broke
give you
up with
time
her,
to
but he was
be
the
ready?
jealous
Okay.
one.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. Never got out of pirate role of being a pirate. He enjoys the trips. Yeah, it's like, all right, let me look at this here. So they're really trying to use the 30-year-old hippie who into the business to rehearse the case points for him? Well, here's the thing, right, is that, in my opinion, like, what the fuck does this mean? Like, what does this mean at all? Like, I have no idea. It's like, I don't, like... So he had an argument with her, like, how many fucking years ago? Like, what the fuck does this mean to me? Like, basically nothing. She had the same injuries as Amber. Coincidence, Johnny only injures in the same areas in his abuse? Well, she didn't have any injuries. She had a scratch on her back. That's nothing. It's like, yeah, she didn't even say that was from her. Still not abuse. Nothing illegal about being addicted or jealous. Throwing the bottle is bad. I think that we can all agree throwing the bottle, being drunk and throwing the bottle is a bad thing. This is not something you should do. I would say this is not good. Like, I think we can all agree on that. You should not throw bottles around. That's it. Why is no cross-examination? That's a great fucking question. It absolutely is.
State your name and address for the record.
Michelle Mulrooney, Los Angeles,
Okay.
California, 90067.
Oh, well, I want to talk about this more. I really do. I could go on about this
what
a
is your
lot.
occupation?
I'm a partner at Venable LLP, an attorney.
She got the Nick Marks camera angle.
Could you just please describe give me a brief description of your educational background and work history?
Okay, I attended USC and received my undergraduate degree in 1982. And then I again attended USC and received my law degree in 1985.
Jesus, this is a long time ago.
I then worked for Gibson, Dunn and Crutcher until 1991. And then I worked for an entertainment law firm that was originally called Armstrong Hirsch. When I joined it, then later morphed into several names. And then in 2011, I joined Venable LLP as a partner.
Okay.
Thank you. What are your areas of practice and expertise?
I'm head of the estate planning, the West Coast estate planning group for Venable.
So this is for
And
rich people.
Does that estate planning involve any aspect of marital estate planning, such as things like prenups and postnups, prenuptials, postnuptials?
Yes, we frequently do prenups, cohabitation, and postnup agreements for our clients.
Would you please briefly describe what a prenuptial and a postnuptial is?
A prenuptial agreement is where spouses contract on the economics of their marriage before they are married. married.
Post-nut?
And they discuss things as the nature.
Yeah, that's
they
when you tell her to
contract
leave.
the things as the nature of the property, community separate, etc., and also things like spousal support. And in a post-nup, the clients do that after they're married.
Right.
The same, they contract on the same issues.
Do you regularly represent actors?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm asking very narrowly, did there come a time when Amber Heard contacted you for representation respecting a prenup or a postnup agreement?
At some point, I was contacted about an Amber Heard prenup.
Okay.
Ms. Mulroney, I'm going to show you what has been marked as exhibit number 3, and it's an email from you to a Dana Lowry. Do you know who Dana Lowry is?
Yes.
And could you please tell us who Dana Lowry is?
She's a family law attorney practicing in Los Angeles.
And this is dated Monday, February 2, 2015, and says, I look forward to working with you. Please send me, this is from you, please send me the bullet points for the economics of the deal. When you are back in the office tomorrow, I will have Amber's business manager get her financial information to me ASAP. I also like to exchange 2 years of tax returns, but not attach them. Is this your general practice? Let me know. Think. Who did Dana Lowry represent?
Johnny Depp.
I take it Amber in the actual document is Amber Heard.
That
Is
would
that
make
correct?
sense, sure.
Yes.
Okay. And if I just direct your attention to the top of the email where it says February 2nd, get control here. February 2, 2015. What, if anything, does this do to refresh your recollection on when approximately you were contacted about representing Amber Heard in connection with the prenup?
It makes the approximate date more clear to me.
Okay, cute.
And based on this, when approximately were you contacted to represent Amber Heard in connection with the prenup or postnup?
The early part of February, the late part of January, or the early part of February 2015.
Alrighty.
Ms. Mulroney, I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been marked as exhibit number 4. And it is an email from
Amber's
you
trying to slip up and call Amber
to
turd.
Dana Lowry,
Imagine
which is Mr.
that.
Depp's counsel, correct?
Oh my God.
During this time
Her
period.
own
correct.
lawyer refers to her as
And
that?
it's dated Tuesday,
Oh,
February
shit.
3. And I'm going to scroll down first so we get the earliest part of it. And the first part of it is an email from Dana Lowry to you, dated February 3rd at 10:13, and says J/A deal points. Do you know what J/A means? I'm going to take you, first of all, to the bottom part, which is the J/deal points. Do you have an understanding of what J/A means?
What does that mean? What's this?
I believe it means Johnny/Amber deal points.
Sure.
Absent a prenuptial agreement or a postnuptial agreement,
J/,
is
yep.
California what we call a common law property state?
No,
What is it?
it's a community property state.
Okay.
Okay, and what does that mean?
Generally means that all earnings after the date of marriage are owned 50. Each party has an undivided 50% interest in those earnings.
Okay. Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yes.
What was your understanding of the purpose of the confidentiality agreement?
It's very standard when you're doing a prenuptial agreement or a postnuptial agreement when either party is disclosing their assets, that they ask for a confidentiality agreement.
You respond
I think that would
on
make
February
sense, sure.
17, Dana, I have forwarded to Amber. She is filming a movie, but hope to connect with her by the end of the week. I will keep trying to move forward.
Okay.
I'm asking you what you meant by I will keep trying to move forward.
I assume I meant that we're trying to get a post-nuptial agreement signed between the parties, and that's what I was hired for.
That would make sense,
Show
yeah.
you what has been marked as exhibit number 7.
Okay.
And I'm going to start again with going down to show you where the stream is here.
Don't understand the wizard's testimony.
It
I'll talk about it
says-
more when I can. Like, there's a lot to talk about with that.
On February
It's a graph,
17.
so I have a lot to say
That's the
about it.
same email we've seen a couple times now where she's attaching the confidentiality agreement, telling you she'll have a draft post-nup agreement,
Okay.
but she's getting the signed confidentiality agreement first. And then I'm going to direct your attention to the very top part, and that is Wednesday, February 18.
I think I have that air
From you,
purifier
two down,
behind her.
Lowry, and it says Amber is sending the signed confidentiality agreement to me. I assume I will
Okay.
receive all the underlying financials and a list of anticipated future revenue streams and documentation pertaining thereto. What did you mean by underlying financials and a list of anticipated future revenue streams and
He said it
documentation
3
pertaining thereto?
times.
I
3
mean,
times.
this is typical for an actor. They have profit participation,
Oh my god.
back ends. I wanted to have a list
Jesus,
of what
man.
his future revenue would be. He might have had movies booked
Uh-huh.
that he would render services after marriage. I just wanted to see the pro forma.
What did you mean by back ends?
Back
Okay.
end is either profit participation or royalties. Sometimes it's box office bonuses. You just have to look at the underlying agreement on each movie, TV show, etc., to
Okay.
track what the revenue will be from each project.
And why is that relevant?
I want to know what they're going to make during the marriage. I want to
Yep.
know the income during the marriage.
It is. It's
And
trending.
those are all components of what they make during the marriage?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
There we go, boys.
All right.
It
And then you
happened.
said, I can't really comment on the document until I get this information. What document were you referring to there?
Good job,
The
boys.
post-nup agreement that I anticipated
Good work.
she would send.
How much
We
time
know he did it.
expired between when you were sent the confidentiality agreement for Amber Heard to sign and when you indicated back to counsel for Mr. Depp that Amber is sending the signed confidentiality agreement to you?
The next day,
What, if any, communication did you receive from Mr. Depp in connection with the post-nup agreement?
I received one telephone call.
And whom did you receive that telephone call from?
Okay.
Mr. Depp.
Oh, he called her. All right. What did he
Please
say?
describe the telephone call from Mr. Depp.
What do he said?
My recollection is that he was very mean, that he called me names, and that he fired me on behalf of them.
When you say that he was very mean, what did you mean?
Well, my only exact recollection is he called me a bitch.
Mr. Depp called you a bitch on that telephone call?
Hearsay, leading.
What, if any, observations did you make during the telephone call from Mr. Depp?
All right.
During which time he called you a
All
bitch?
right.
I thought he was under the influence.
Why did you think that?
Because he was.
He was slurring his words, and his speech pattern was similar to my children's speech pattern when they were under him. I was just extremely rattled by the call. Yeah,
Okay.
I was on the phone for a very short time with him because he was represented by counsel, and I didn't want to be rude and hang up, but I told him I had to hang up, like after 2 or 3 minutes after I realized what was happening. It took me very off guard.
Right.
And that's all I remember is that it really shook me up.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
After that
Yeah,
phone call,
it upset
did you
her.
perform any further services for Ms. Heard in connection with the postnuptial agreement?
No.
Do you recall ever seeing a postnuptial draft agreement?
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay.
Has either Ms. Heard or Mr. Depp contacted you at any time after the call with Mr. Depp respecting pursuing a postnuptial agreement?
No.
Who, if anyone, was paying your legal services?
I don't recall.
Was it
How
your
do you not remember
understanding
that?
that Mr. Depp had the authority to fire you?
What?
No.
Did you tell him that?
I don't recall.
And isn't it true that he wouldn't have had the authority to fire you even if he were paying for your legal services? True?
True.
Okay, I guess.
What, if any, communications did you have with Dana Lowy about your conversation with Mr. Depp after the conversation with Mr. Depp?
I don't recall specifically.
What do you recall generally, if anything?
Mm-hmm.
I do recall that I told her that I was no longer representing him.
All right, sure.
But I don't know if I did that in writing. Somehow she knew.
Mm-hmm.
But and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you testified
Here we
that
go.
Mr. Depp did not have the authority to fire you, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Ms. Mulrooney, when did your attorney-client relationship with Ms. Heard relating to a potential postnuptial agreement terminate?
What is this?
Shortly after that phone call.
All right.
When you say shortly after that phone call, can you give us a time frame of how
What does
long
this
it was
mean?
after the phone call?
Within a few days, could be one.
He didn't have the power to fire you, correct?
How would he not have the power to fire her?
Correct.
I don't understand that.
Do you have any recollection of ever receiving any more communications from Dana Lowry furthering the postnuptial agreement after Johnny Depp called you and told you he was firing you on behalf of Amber and called you names?
No
Jesus.
substantive. I
He's
recall that there was
pissed.
no more substantive
She
conversation.
wasn't paying her. Amber was the one paying the
Is there
contract.
any
I
question in
see.
your mind that it
Okay.
was Mr. Depp who called
I
you?
get it.
No.
I was confused. You're looking for a pattern of repeating history of the present to now? Well, you know what the pattern is? Is that Johnny gets mad and gets drunk, but he's never hit anybody. That's the pattern. You guys see? Like, that's the pattern that we've seen many, many times so far. At least that's the pattern that I've fucking seen. Like, yeah, what happened? What's this here with the Twitter hashtag guy? Anything important? Okay, so we had Bill Gates on here, right? We had the wizard, the Twitter hashtag guy, and basically he claimed a lot of different things, and he was pissed off about a lot of different stuff. In my opinion, I don't really think that this is I don't think this is a big thing. I don't think so at all. And like also like yeah, it's the Amber Turd. I cannot believe. Let's listen to it again. Here we go.
Were in existence before Mr. Waldman made the first statement in April 2020, right?
That's correct.
Right.
In very small number.
Uh-huh.
But justice for Johnny Depp has been around since 2013.
That's
correct?
what they say.
That sounds correct.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Amber Heard is an abuser, and Amber Turd first appeared in 2016, correct?
I don't recall, actually.
Right. Do you recall if there was any portion
Oh
of
man.
Mr. Waldman's
This
statement
first
that made
one.
any reference to Amber Turd?
Not that I've seen.
Right. People can form a negative view of Ms. Heard without reading.
Okay,
Mr. Waldman's
there it
statements,
is.
Correct?
Yep.
People can form a negative opinion of anyone without reading anything. That's correct.
That's very true.
And you didn't consider whether there was negative publicity around Ms. Heard other than the Waldman statements.
Uh-huh.
Well, what I did was to report on correlation with these hashtags and certain search terms in particular. I wasn't trying to read anyone's mind as to why they used them.
Man, like he was trying not to laugh. Yeah, I know. He said it with such force. Like, I feel like he had to say it. It's like, because I was looking forward to it so much because, like, the guys, like, his, everything like that, what percentage of all tweets are negative versus positive? I would say that it is not outside the realm of possibility that the guy, the Twitter guy is right. I think so. I think the Twitter wizard is right. I feel like, obviously, a lot of those statements were probably influenced by what that guy had said, but I think there's a lot of other ones that were just influenced by people having the conversation. And yes, you're right, that there are people that just simply use a hashtag to get their opinion out there on the subject, but they don't necessarily agree with what's being said. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's trending again. We did it earlier. Yeah, I know. Play it again. All right, one more time.
In April 2020, right? For Johnny Depp has been around since 2013, correct?
That sounds correct.
Yeah. Amber Heard is an abuser, and Amber Turd first appeared.
There it is. Okay, yep, there we go. I fucking knew it. All right, let me go back. I'm going to see this one more time. Why is everyone slag off Amber Heard? There's George Bass, Paul Guskin. All white beaters get their main hearers. Well, the reason why is people, I know that there are people who are mad that, they are mad that I'm not taking the opinion of Amber Heard. I've seen a lot of these comments. There are girls that, like, they'll tweet at me and they'll say, I'm balding. No wonder I think that Amber Heard is guilty. And listen, like, I don't, like, what do you, like, who cares? Like, I don't get, like, who gives a shit? Like, what does this matter to me? Like, it's just, yeah, who gives a fuck what their opinions are? Girls with daddy issues? I don't think it's girls with daddy issues. A lot of them, I'm going to be honest, it were girls with food issues. Talking shit about my physical appearance. They'll talk about throwing stones whenever you live in a glass house. Shut the fuck up. So I get to hear this shit all the time, right? Constantly. And I fucking hate it. I don't like hearing this shit because it's not because it's insulting towards me. Who cares, right? It's that people are so fucking stupid. They're so dumb that they think that people are actually going to agree this. Biased all, we're all fuck Amber. Well, of course I'm biased, right? Of course. I've made that very clear. I think that she's lying. But I think that she's lying because of the evidence that's presented. Right? I think that's the difference. I don't think that she's telling the truth based off of an ideology. Do you see, like, kind of what the difference is there? There's a UK judge that ruled that bald jokes are sexual harassment. Oh, yeah, of course, right? I mean, absolutely, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's stupid too, but, like, what happens over in the UK, who gives a fuck what happens over in the UK? There's plenty of stupid shit that happens like that. And another of Johnny's ex-wives said that he abused him too, though. This three woman covering a span of 30 years. Pattern can't be swept under the rug is lies. As far as I know, I've heard other statements that say the opposite. So it's very hard for me to say that. Like, if this was so true and it was so definitive, why are they not on the stand testifying now? I wonder. Well, probably because it's not really that credible or it didn't really happen. That's what I'm kind of assuming. And let's see here. Amber Turd Andes, yeah, listen. As a, let's see right here. Plenty of things you can say I don't necessarily stand by and tell your own opinion. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Keep my bald streamer. Yeah, link you a guy in the audience tweeting out what the jury are doing during all this. Yeah, the way that I look at it is this. I don't really care about, like, the jury or anything like that, etc. It's not that big of a deal to me because I think that people will arrive at what is probably the most fair conclusion, right? And it doesn't even, as I said, it doesn't really matter because the people have already made up their mind on this, and that's really what makes the difference. These random Reddit pages keep popping up about defending Amber. I'm pretty sure it's bots talking to each other because it's delusional. I think that if I were to just, like, judge internet sentiment, right? I mean, like, and this is, like, I don't have a graph for this. I didn't do an API study on this. I would say, like, 95% of people, like 98% of people are on Johnny Depp's side. I would absolutely say so. And I think that it's probably, I think it's probably, it could even be more than that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with that? Yeah, I think so. Defending Amber could also just be ride the other side of the wave. Yeah, of course people could be doing that, right? They could be saying this in order to attract attention to themselves because they think that's funny or whatever, right? I think that's definitely true. And obviously more and more people are like tweeting stuff at me and like trying to show stuff at me, etc. And again, I think that the most important thing to me is that we have to see like some degree of evidence. And that's what matters more than anything else. I think we can all agree Johnny Depp has drug issues and is probably hard to be around, but I'm not seeing any evidence that he ever hit her. Amber, though, has already admitted to being physically abusive at times. And that's what I'm saying, is that, like, it's the physical abusive stuff, etc. And in, like, almost all of the recordings, it's usually him being upset, and we don't really see what made him upset. And then her being like angry and like nasty towards him. So like, why would I assume that he's the aggressor with this kind of stuff? I don't think so at all. And again, it just made it worse for herself. It's kind of like O.J. Simpson. They paint a picture of Johnny being out of control and violent and might sway the jury to believing her story. Well, it seems very obvious that the guy has a drug problem. It does. And I think that also beyond that, he probably has, like, as I said, in like the past 10 years, right? Like Johnny Depp went from being like famous to being extremely famous with like Pirates of the Caribbean. That's like really the past 20 years, not 10. So like there was a lot of people that like attached themselves to him. It's like, remember the accountant guy? Where the accountant guy was just listing off all the hundreds of thousands of dollars that Johnny Depp was spending. Like, he was spending out so much fucking money to all of these different people. It was insane. Yeah, I was astonished to see that's about it. It's about 70% against Amber, 29% they're both guilty. The last percent is split between people for her or people that think Depp never drank wine. Yeah, I think that's maybe the case. I mean, you've obviously got delusional people on both sides. You're definitely right about that.